Hi, my name is Natalie Malan, and I just wanted to pop in and introduce you to our new line of embroidery panels for coats. So in this video, we're going to show you a few things. I want to show you how to do a few of the simple stitches. You can put something in the middle of the wreath, or you can leave it plain. It's totally up to you. Stitch as much or as little as you would like. So this side has all been embroidered. This side hasn't been finished yet. So you can see you can even just do the center if you want to do a little keepsake, or for a little baby, a family member, anyone you love. You can do something special. You can do a quote, all kinds of pretty things that you can do in the middle. This other option is our little cacti guy, and he's just fun and simple and really quick to stitch up.
First, we'll talk about the packaging. This is the way it comes from the store. You'll find it on the peg. It comes with a beautiful embroidery panel, and then inside you'll see the directions on the card, so hang on to those. And then you'll also see recommended colors of thread. These are the ones I would pick up if you want it to look like the project I'm showing you here. I like to wrap my thread around little cards just to keep them handy. I also picked up an embroidery hoop. I unscrew it, lay it on the top, and then I pull the sides nice and snug so I have a really good taut surface for my stitches. First up is the back stitch, so we're going to get into that with the video. I'll show you exactly what these directions mean. And this is an example of where you'll be using it on the project. When you buy embroidery floss, it comes in 6 plies, so there's 6 different strands, and I separate mine apart, and I like to stitch with 3, so I just split it in half like this. And then to tie a knot, I twist it 3 times around the needle and hold that snugly while I pull, and it makes a great little knot at the end. There's a bunch of different ways you can do that. That's probably my favorite. So for the back stitch, you're going to come up from the back and then around and go in at number 2 and come out at number 3. So I'll show you right here. This is step number 1, coming out from the back, and then you're going to go down and in for number 2 and across to the other side right here. So your thread will be coming up through the center, and you can see it right there. So that's the first stitch, and you make one little stitch and then you have a gap right there. And so that's why it's called the back stitch, because you backtrack just a little bit and then you'll leave a little space. Your stitch is coming out through the middle, and then you just repeat that over and over again to make your little back stitches. And I like to do those around some of the edges of these little primrose flowers. I don't like to do it around the whole thing like a coloring book. I kind of prefer to keep them as little accents here and there and not necessarily outlining it all. So you just keep going, and when you get to the end and you want to finish what you're doing, you go into the last stitch and then you can flip over your work. And I like to just go through and leave a little loop and go back through that loop again and do that a couple times to make a little knot before I trim it off. Okay, so the detached chain stitch is up next, and this is the first stitch I ever learned. It looks like these cute little leafy shapes. You can make flowers out of it, all kinds of different things. So I'm just going to show you how I knot my thread again. You can see wrap it around 3 times and pull into a perfect little knot. So I'm coming up from the back, and I'm going to go back down again in the exact same hole, but don't pull too fast and too hard because you actually want to leave a little loop just like this. Then you're going to come where you want the tip of the loop to stay. So I'm coming at the tip of this little leaf shape right here and go inside of the loop and then pull it, but don't pull too hard. If you pull too hard, it will close your loop. So you just have to work on your tension a little bit and get it exactly how you want it. And then go back down again the other side. So let's go over that one more time. You're going to come up and back down the same hole, make a little loop, come up from the back through the center of the loop, and then around and down the other side. So you're basically tacking that on. If you pull too hard, it'll pull the tip of the loop back behind, and you don't want that. So if you pull too hard, just use your needle and pop it back up again. So out, back down, come where you want the tip to be, and around to the other side of the loop to hold it in place. And you'll have a whole bunch of these cute little loops. Next up is the French knot. This one gave me some trouble when I used to stitch these. So here you go. Come up from behind and then take your needle. I like to wrap it 3 times and then go back down again. I like to hold the string taut with my left hand and use my right hand to pull the needle back through. And it'll make a perfect little French knot. So let me show you one more time where it's not on the blue colored so you can see it better. So I'm gonna pull up and then I'll grab the embroidery floss with my left hand and I'll take the needle kind of down from the bottom where it's coming out of the embroidery panel, wrap it 3 times and then push it back down through. And I like to hold it almost to the end with my left hand before I let go for the next one. And then one more time. Wrap it. I'm taking my needle and pointing towards my left hand. That's important. And then turn it back around and back down through. And last up is the satin stitch. And I used the satin stitch on this top little piece of cacti right up here. So you can use the back stitch and stitch around if you wanted to, but I love the look of a satin stitch. So you're going to come up from the back and just go directly straight across, back and forth on top of these little spaces. I like to go pretty close to the edge. Here I've got them spaced out a little bit so that you can see them, but if I was doing this on a final project, I like to stack them as close as I possibly can and as parallel as I possibly can all the way up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and these projects and these really fun kits as much as I enjoyed and absolutely loved creating them for you. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I have some more fun projects coming up really soon.